Hello everyone, welcome to the February 10th CSGO DFS breakdown. Um, there's not a lot, I don't think there's anything to recap. We haven't done a video in a while. The last CSGO videos I made were talking about the Blast Spring, I don't remember the whole name, but they didn't do very well. From a pick standpoint, I just had some bad reads on the teams. And then I decided to kind of take a break from the rest of the event as I was pretty busy in real life. I actually have a lot of things going on, and although I do absolutely love making videos and talking about esports, DFS specifically, or esports as a whole, this is just like a passion project. So unfortunately, it is like kind of one of the first things that I have to cut out when life does get busy. So that kind of sucks, but we are back today at least. We have a decent four gamer at least. The top two matches are not a part of the slate, so it'll be these 4 to 7 o'clock ones. I didn't see any odds posted yet on Bovada, so I went to usually what is my second source of odds, gg.bet. I don't personally use this website. I just use them for their odds, just in case anybody, was curious at all. So the games are pretty interesting here. The first one is Endpoint versus Enterprise. Endpoint, pretty big favorite. Savage is a pretty large favorite at 334 over 777 Esports. Double O Nation, a little bit of a favorite, and then we have Mad Lions as the marginal favorite as well in the final match. So we can talk about the first series, Endpoint Enterprise. So we know, or at least I know, the endpoint names here. Boros, Surreal, Mighty Mac, Crucial have been a part of this team, I believe, for a while. Nerds, I believe, was an off-season edition. I'm not entirely sure. But for Pinnacle, I believe it's been, Nerds over Thomas. So we can just search by their matches with Nerds. As you can see, they've just been playing recently together. With Nerds over Thomas. Had some mixed results, as you guys could tell, with their 13 wins, 10 losses in terms of map count. But they're playing against some decent competition here. A lot of these team names are pretty recognizable, especially within the European Tier 2 scene. So not a lot to bat your eyes at here. As you guys can see already with this Enterprise roster, these are not recognizable names. Forzy, although he is on Sinners now, I believe, that Czech team. Enterprise, there, as you can see already, 16 wins, 27 losses, not looking great. But we can try and look at what's going on. So with this roster last month, 10 and 21, not ideal there. They're taking some maps off of decent teams, but they're losing to teams like Heat, Big Academy, Finest, again, Gamer Legion. Only wins like one tap, NLG. So they're getting like low level wins. They're losing to some decent teams. I think based off of where their results are coming in the past month, probably just gonna have to follow the odds here and go with Endpoint versus Enterprise. At first glance, I'm honestly like a little surprised that the odds are this close. Although they do play in the same realm, like there's not a gigantic gap between these teams. So I don't want to kind of get that twisted, I guess. But based off just what we've seen, looking at their matches in the past few weeks and past little bit here, it seems like Endpoint are just kind of on a little bit of another level, like a one small step above them. We know Endpoint have competed at like a high levels of Tier 2, even breaking into the lower ends of the Tier 1 scene. I believe that was back when they had Flames and maybe somebody else. I can't remember. Yeah, but then Flames ended up moving to OG. I'm not sure. The Israeli players are getting mixed up a little bit for me, but they ended up getting Nerds here as well. They feel like they just needed another Israeli player. I am a bit of a fanboy for the Israeli scene. I don't know like how or why that happened, but I just kind of fell in love with players like Flames, Anarchaz. I don't know. I'm missing the other ones. Man, I don't know. Now I feel that now I feel like a fake fan. I can't think of anything beyond 2 players, but um, that's gonna bother me. So I'm gonna check. Sorry to derail this, but um, let's see. There's flames on OG. Is he not in the? Oh yeah, is a Spinks on Ents. That's who I was thinking of. I'm a big fan of Spinks, Flames, Anarches, like a lot of these Israeli players. I'm just a fan of. Can't really tell you why or how that happened, but it is what it is, and they're coming up in the scene pretty well now. So, kind of quick run through. There's 4 games, and there's kind of a lot to get through. So, I feel like pretty comfortable just picking with the endpoint side here. I feel like it should be a 2. I feel like the talent disparity is a little too great here, but it's kind of low level CS. Like it's like tier 2, maybe. Yeah, it's tier 2, maybe bottom tier 2, upper tier 3, but not the greatest levels. So randomness does happen. Look at the kill death ratios pulled up here, but we can talk about those in a second. The second series up is the Savage versus 777. Pull up their stats here for the past month. Actually, we should check and see, make sure that I believe it's Draken playing over Chowsy, but we can make sure. Yeah, so it is just these rosters. I just wanted to make sure. We can see on the 777 side, I do actually like a few of these players, specifically Hare, but and Grusan, but I don't know. They just haven't kind of done that much recently. Over on the Savage roster, so we have Twist, formerly of NIP. Draken is maybe he played for NIP as well, but I don't remember. No, it doesn't show here. But Draken was like a up and coming star not too long ago. So there's this phenomenon with Draken. You guys maybe could Google it or find like a YouTube video on it. It's called the like Draken 30% or something. And pretty much the premise is Draken is the sniper of this team. And when he's zoomed in on the spot and he's just holding it, if you walk out exactly where his crosshair is, like all you need to do is click, he misses it. But he has like a crazy ability to like flick on and get nice kills on opponents. Like he hits hard shots and misses easy shots. So that's like the thing with Draken, and it was like his curse before he switched to Valorant. He ended up coming back recently, I believe during this off season. And I've seen a couple clips and it feels like it still does haunt him. He's not a bad player. It's just something that's like funny and that you can look out for if you end up watching this game. It's like Draken will look and have his eyes set on a place and miss the easiest shots and then hit some crazy ones. So that's something to remember and keep an eye out here. I was honestly a little surprised when I saw the lines this wide for this game, but looking at recent form, these are just pretty devastating defeats, I guess, for the 777 side. I'm not too high on this Double O Nation roster, but it is what it is. Havu, I believe their name value is a little bit overrated, but that's still like kind of bad. Losing to Finest, Visla, Krakow, Dignitas. So it's a little tough. And then hovering over, looking at the Savage side, they're getting some decent wins. Looks like they lost to Spirit, lost to Namiga, lost to Saw, Sprout, Mao's next, Saw again. So it looks like they're losing to the upper echelons of this tier 2 scene, beating some lower end teams. I think they're definitely the better side here. It might come down to just like player pricing and stuff, but I feel like, again, kind of just have to take this one on the chin and go with the favorite. Not ideal, but hopefully we can find something different going forward. Heading over to the third one, we have Unique versus Double O Nation. Unique this is Kazakhstan, I believe, right? Yeah, Kazakhstani team, and then we have the Coldzera team. If you guys are a little bit unaware, with this Double O Nation roster, these players are insanely popular within the Brazilian scene. I believe most recently when they were playing a match, the most Brazilian or sorry, the most popular Brazilian streamer Guals, he was rebroadcasting the match and he had like 100,000 viewers. I believe it was like 20 times more than the actual like main stream had. So like the hype and love around this team is crazy, specifically in Brazil. I don't think that necessarily translates to anything coming over to the like DFS side of the world. I can't imagine that there are too many Brazilians playing on DraftKings and CSGO DFS. That's something to keep in mind. Maybe that these are like pretty popular names within the like South American scene, and they're pretty good players. There's just something lacking, I think, here. And then heading over to the unique side, although I do like these players and they've had some good results, it's just a little tough, I think. So over on the Double O Nation team, this is their first tournament together. They beat 777. They beat Looking for Org, which is the like old Renegades team, I guess. It's like it's the Australian team, and then they they lost to 1 win, but they've looked okay so far. As you can see over on the unique side, they beat the Looking for Org team as well. 1 win in 777. I don't think they've had any overlap there. So I don't know. This one's tough to call. I think that they do have like a good win over Eternal Fire here, but they dropped to Dignitas, Mouse Next, Savage, Saw. They beat the Blue Jays, this Macedonian team, which is surprisingly decent. Alternate Attacks, good win, lost to Endpoint. They beat Finest and Pact. I don't know. This is tough. This is super tough because I want to lean with the Double O Nation side, especially when you look at their team kill death ratio. I mean, this team wins more than they lose, and their kill death ratio is still negative. And over on this side, they have a much better kill death ratio. I don't know. It feels kind of crappy to have to go to this third favorite here, but I think this one makes too much sense when you consider the kill death ratios. This is something I kind of preach pretty heavily in the CSGO scene, at least, is when you're looking at these teams, you kind of just have to lean towards that kill death ratio side because like that's all the DK points are just kill death ratio. So, it feels bad to have to do that. Maybe that's something we should have brought up and looked at in the other series. So in the enterprise side, we have, so this is Endpoint. In the enterprise side, we have last month, they have a 0.92. I mean, they lose a lot, so that's kind of understandable, but not, pretty big kill death ratio disparity here as well. Heading over to the Savage 777 team. This is Savage here, and we look at 777. Sorry if this is a little confusing, but last month. So the Savage team is a little bit better of a kill death ratio here as well, but again, 777 they're losing, so that's a little rough. But when you have that gap, especially in a close series like how I'd imagine this 777 or Double O Nation versus Unique series, I expect it to be a little bit closer. So you kind of have to draw the line somewhere, and I think that's maybe somewhere I will. Like, I don't love having to pick 3 straight favorites, especially down here at the tier 2 CS scene. Savage, Endpoint, and Double O Nation are all favorites. I get these prices. I feel like these are all pretty accurate. Then we head down so far. Then we head over to the 4th series between Mad Lions and Avangar. This is a pretty weird series, I think, all things considered. I think this Avangar lineup is super weird to me. When I first looked into this earlier today, I'm trying to figure out how Southall has 2 maps. So they played 7 maps. All 5 players have played 7. How is Southall at 2? Maybe he's with somebody else. I'm not sure. That's kind of interesting. But so we look at this. Why am I blanking out? This Avantgarde team. So they have N0 from Kyrgyzstan. They have Finnegan from Russia. They have Kadeo from Kazakhstan, Fozo from Russia, and IC from Kazakhstan as well. It just seems like such a weird mishmash. Like I'd assume that they all speak the same language. Although I'm not sure of that. I believe the Kazakhstani players speak Russian. Maybe I'm showing some ignorance there, but I believe like the Kazakhstani players typically are playing with the Russian players as well. So I would have to assume that there's some unique, some language that speaks out between these five players. The main thing here is pretty much the results. This avant-garde team has looked pretty good. I mean, they beat Spirit, which is a like decent team. Um, I'm not sure where Spirit is ranked in the world at the moment, 52, but they have good players like Dexter, Chopper, Magix, Patsy. Like these are good players, and the Spirit team, like the avant-garde team, like I don't know, they just kind of win. Like they lost to Enterprise, which is not good. You guys know that I'm not high on this Enterprise team, especially from the first series we talked about. But they beat Tricked. They beat this Polish team, Ungentium. Not it was close, but not the greatest. Like it's just this one win over Spirit that kind of sticks out to me, and the fact that they're 9-3. So I don't know. It's just a little tough. I feel like there's not a lot to go off of. And then especially when you look over on the Mad Lion side. So they lost to Tricked. They beat Ungentium and Enterprise as well. Are these the same rosters? No, it's not. This is Melty, Matisse, Blitz, Mangus, and the Elive. And this is from the day before. Blitz, Alive. So the only difference was they had Melty instead of Neo. Is that what I'm gathering? Okay, so I guess this is the reason this was a different flag is because this was three three Slovakian players here, and then I close the other tab. Whoops, we're gonna have to reopen that. Avant-garde Mad Lions, but the point being that there's not a lot to go off of for both teams. So it's pretty tough. I think when you're looking at name value, it's definitely leaning towards the Mad Lion side. Mihu, JL, they've been pretty good. I think they're solid players. Borp is a good, solid like role player / in-game leader. I believe he's their leader. I don't know. It's just super tough and weird. I think maybe this is unfortunately where we have to kind of pick the underdog side. Kind of look at the kill death ratios, although like it's pretty close. When you consider that this team is 9-3, this is 4-3, and they're close in kill death ratio, so it's not ideal. As much as I do like these players, I like Michu, JL, Sumda Young. It kind of sucks that they don't have Waro 2K. He seemed to be a pretty impactful opper. I'm not sure who's opting for this team at the moment. Because Mihu was a rifler, I believe. And like I don't think any of these players were oppers. So then I believe it's Finnegan who opts over here on the avant-garde team. So I don't know. I don't love this, but I think this is kind of like where you have like it's close. So you kind of just lean with maybe this team here, the avant-garde side. They've been winning. At least they got the job done at least. And they have some nice kills ratios here with Finnegan and Kadeo. So that gives us a spot. We look at the price. Finnegan, Kadeo are pretty cheap. So that seems like a good spot to go. So we've got our teams picked out, and now we just compare the kill death ratios to the pricing on DraftKings, not rocket science here. So we picked Endpoint over the Enterprise team. We picked Savage over 777, picked Double O Nation over Unique, and Avant-Garde over Mad. So we look, I guess the easier way to do it is team by team. We have Boros at the top, and he's at the top, 9,600. Then we have Nerds, Crucial, and Surreal, all kind of mixed there together in the middle. Pretty accurate here. I mean, when this happens, like I don't mind getting down to like Surreal if you have that much money left. Like he's fine if he's your last player. I can't remember who says that. I believe it's Means with the NBA roster construction. Like, he's fine as a last piece. Like, if you get down to your tier 6 slot and you have 6,300, I don't think going surreal here is a problem at all. But not a lot of value there with the endpoint team. Heading over to Savage, the looks like Draken is up top, 9,200. That's pretty tough. Plessin is up there. Grux is 76. Trip is their second player. Dazon is pretty cheap as well. That's a tough one. Again, I think this is like similar to the endpoint side. There's not a lot to love here. Draken seems fine. Plessin is overpriced for sure. Grux isn't bad. Twist is overpriced. Dazon isn't bad. So I think Dazon and Grux, maybe if you're at same thing there, like the last piece, 5,600 is pretty cheap, and hopefully, like if Savage get the sweep and Dazon is like positive, then he should be able to pay off that price tag. So I don't hate that, but I don't love much there either. Double O Nation, super cheap. That's pretty crazy. Try has some crazy numbers. I know the odds on this game was close. So maybe it's tough for 3 players to get there, but it's such a concentrated kill share. Try is so far above everyone else. VSM and Coldzera are behind them. And then again, I don't know what it is with the Brazilian playstyle or the South American playstyle as a whole. Is this flag different? Guatemala. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm stupid there, I guess, for not seeing that, but sidetrack. Something with the Brazilian players, they just seem to like get higher kill death ratios overall as a team. I have the same thing with Furia and those kind of teams. I don't know what it is, but they just seem to rack up kills and not die somehow, even if they're not always winning the rounds, winning the games. So some obvious value here with Try, VSM, and Coldzera. I'd expect them to be pretty popular just because they seem to be the only value that sticks out super hard. I'm going to check their wins here. This is something I like to do sometimes just to get some context. I'm going to look at who's on the scoreboard when they're winning. So it looks like it's Coldzera, VSM, and Try, and then over here it's just Try. Maybe Coldzera's there, not bad. So that kind of doesn't separate much. You know, it's going to be tough to get away from these players. Yeah, Unique is just way overpriced. That's kind of crazy. So I don't know what happened with the pricing there, but Try, VSM, Coldzera, all super underpriced here. They're all pretty good plays. It's hard to get away from them, I think. Then heading over to the final one, the Avant-Garde team. Again, seems underpriced at first glance. Finnegan, Kadeo. Super high KDs. Seem to be pretty good in the kill share. They're going to be important to this team if they win. And I like taking that shot on them as well. So, you know, it sucks, but these rosters kind of build themselves sometimes. Again, I'm not somebody who's good at ownership, but I'd imagine these players would be pretty popular. I'm actually not sure on the Avant-Garde side. I say that just because Mad Lions is a name that we know, and this Avant-Garde team players, you probably don't know most of these players. I would say Finnegan and Kadeo are the only names that we've seen before, really. Icy, Fozil, and N0, we don't know that much about. We know all these Mad Lion players. We've clicked on some Die Young and TMB, JL, Mihu. We've clicked on these names before, so maybe Mad Lions gets traction and Avant-Garde isn't there. But you know, it's kind of hard to get away from the value here, from the Unique or from the Double O Nation and Avant-Garde side. Maybe you can pair it up with the with Draken or Boros, for example. Those seem to be fine. But you know, I kind of built the lineup maybe a little bit here for us, so I think that's probably where I will call it. You know, it's going to be tough to get away from this Double O Nation team. I'm not in love with the Avant-Garde side, but maybe you don't even need to get there necessarily. But you know, it's not a bad spot either. So, and that, you know, that's where I'm leaning. I'm leaning Double O Nation and Avant-Garde pretty heavy. Those seem pretty underpriced. I don't hate some players on Savage and Endpoint that we talked about. So, I'm probably going to be pretty obviously built here. I think I'd imagine I'll be eating a lot of the chalk as well, but it happens, and I typically stick to like single entry, one lineup stuff. I don't get too crazy in that aspect personally, so I don't worry that much about ownership overall. And I just try to build who I think is like kind of the best lineup, and that's kind of where I'm standing for now. So not a lot really for like big entry MME stuff, so I apologize for that, but kind of have to go with what is presented to us. So that's where I'll be leaning tonight. Best luck to you guys. I'm not sure how the CSGO slates will look going forward. Again, I don't like to play slates that I don't play, and I don't like to talk about them, and I don't like big favorites and all that kind of stuff. I like decent slates. This looks okay to me, so we'll give this a shot. That'll be it for me today. I will see you guys when I see you guys for CSGO.